Welcome back to another episode of the Todd Durkin Impact Show. And this today...
Wait. I thought I was going to do the intro.
Okay, you do the intro. You do it.
All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Todd Durkin Impact Show. I have a special guest today.
Oh, welcome back
Todd
to
Durkin.
the Melanie Durkin Impact Show. This is Melanie Durkin, and today we're celebrating 20 years of marriage. Folks, this is going to be a classic
never take
one.
over
Yes, you
all
could.
of
You
your
could. Matter of fact, we should make a
talk.
we should
I know.
make a Melanie Durkin show.
No, I would never want that. That's where we're so different.
We should make a Melanie Durkin Impact Show. Folks, today, yes, it is a special week. Happy Valentine's Day. Y'all had a great Valentine's Day yesterday. Congratulations. Hopefully you had the opportunity to spend it with your loved one or loved ones. This is our 20th anniversary week. So wedding
Melanie,
anniversary
figured,
week. Yes, wedding anniversary. February 17, 2001, we got married, and today we're going to share some of our top lessons. Have you learned anything in 20 years, by the way, from on marriage?
I know. Well, at first when you asked me, you wanted 20 lessons.
I tend to overdo it.
You do. You tend to overdo it. And I was kind of like trying to figure out if I had 10 to 20 lessons. I don't know if I had that many, but I did come up with 5 good lessons.
5?
And
okay.
you told me you came up with 5 good lessons.
I can do 15.
No. So we have 10 in 20 years.
10.
I think that's good.
Before we go into our lessons, right? Because it's like all lessons. We have not shared our lessons.
We have not, which is
in full transparency. We have not shared each other's lessons, so they might overlap or they might be a little scary on this.
I was
we'll see.
completely thinking the same.
We'll see how much we overlap. Like an old married couple, they just think alike. They can finish each other's sentences. But hey, if you have not had the opportunity to meet my wife Melanie, just a quick little background. In December 1996, I was living in Los Angeles. I was a trainer up in Hollywood, and I decided to move down to San Diego for grad school. And San Diego State offered me an opportunity to be a teaching assistant as a graduate student, where I was teaching racquetball and weight training. And I was doing these ATC hours at USD.
Academic.
And USD, and I was all of a sudden I met this gal on day one.
Your first time on campus.
First time on campus. It was late. It was late December '96, early '97, and we met, and that was the first time meeting. Do you remember that?
I had been in the program for a semester because you started in spring
January
semester.
97.
Yeah, and
January
I had started
97.
in the fall semester. So, you were kind of the new guy, the new teaching assistant. You were interesting.
So what did you and your friend Wendy say when
I was with one of my best friends? We're still best friends to this day,
Mm-hmm.
and we found we were curious about you. We thought you were pretty
Curious.
cute. You were friendly, and we looked at each other after you walked away, and we were like, huh.
Now, did I look the same then as I do now? Was I like...
You were dressed up because we had a teacher meeting with the whole department, the kinesiology department at San Diego State. And you were actually really hot and adorable.
Let me tell you something, folks. Although we met in January '97, for the next 9-10 months, I would go visit Melanie's step-aerobics classes.
You were
I
like
had
a
to make
creepy
sure
stalker.
she was doing her job. And really what I was doing was checking out her calves, because let me tell you what.
Stop.
Her
Please,
calves.
This is
her
not.
calves. Stop it. Stop it. Her calves,
my gosh.
folks. Okay, she taught step aerobics like 8 days a week. And, and she had the most beautiful smile, still does, the most beautiful smile, and the best calves I've ever seen. And for 9-10 months, I was teaching racquetball, and I'd always just have to go by and wave and say hello to Melanie. But we were friends in full transparency the first 9-10 months. We took many classes, advanced biomechanics together. And then in December, we started dating, and it was... What was the date?
It was October 4th.
Oh, you know the date.
I do. I know the date. We were friends.
I should probably know the date.
You turned a corner and you asked me out to dinner, and I was like, "Well, that's
I think I asked you to study.
No, you didn't. We had studied a lot together, and we were
big move.
It was a big move.
Where did we go on our first date?
We went to the Catamaran
restaurant.
And when we
the
were
Bahia
on
Boat.
the Bahia, I was going to say, was it the Bahia restaurant? No, it was the Catamaran restaurant. And then we took a little Bahia boat ride, which was very romantic.
That was the
very
beginning.
fun. That was
the beginning. So October 4th, you said that was 97.
Yes.
So just 2 months later, I invited Melanie back to Jersey. 2 months. I was like, you got to come see my home, meet my family.
I met your family. I went to Jersey.
Yeah, that could be a little overwhelming now.
That was.
Seven brothers and sisters. It was cold. It's December in Jersey. All you Jerseyites out there, you know, it's like Melanie experienced her first ever snowstorm.
Yeah, actually, we got snowed in.
Snowed
remember?
in. We had to delay our flight. And I was like, this is perfect. A California girl, San Diego, born and raised, never seen snow in her life.
That is not
and
true.
She
I
gets
had seen
stuck
snow.
in Jersey. We're doing snow angels. She's like, this is the best thing ever. And let me tell you what, it was absolutely awesome.
Okay, now I had seen snow before. It was not like I had never been in the snow, but there is nothing like a New Jersey snowstorm when you are snowed. We couldn't travel out. I remember.
I loved it.
It was exciting.
I love snow.
And we got serious very quickly because we had been friends for like almost a year.
Because you fell in love with a Jersey boy.
I did fall in love. I fell in love hard after we started dating.
Okay.
And then we dated for 3 years. You were kind of a little slow to the proposal, and
Well, I had a dog to present you.
well,
Sid came along.
We got our dog, and we took it slow. You took your time,
Fellas.
I mean, I guess we could say I was a little
Anyone ever
more
got
ready
a
than
dog
you were.
before a ring, like you're like, you know
Yeah.
what? I want to get
You
a
were
dog
trying
that
out
delays
the-
me an hour,
You
or
did.
an hour. It delays me a year or two.
You bought yourself
I
about
bought myself
6
some
months,
time.
I think, on that. Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
So fast forward. Sid brings the ring in for the engagement. You say yes at the Prado, and on February 17th, 2001, we get married. Take us through that day.
Yes. Oh my goodness. That was the happiest day of my life. That was the best day. We had a huge wedding. Pre-COVID. Pre. 200 guests or more. And we got married at Founders Chapel. And in the evening, it was a candlelight ceremony. And then we had our reception was at that Mission Valley Hotel.
Town
It's
and
not
Country.
even there
Town and
anymore.
Country.
Yeah, they demolished that hotel,
Yep.
I think, didn't they?
Yep.
So anyway, it was just everyone that we cared about were there. We were just really only about a year into being here at Fitness Quest 10. So we did have some teammates and some client friends and stuff that we're still really close to. But it was we had so many people traveling from across the country. All your family came out to. They were happy that we
Half
had
my
it.
William Mary teammates.
Yeah, you had a lot of football teammates, and so
Yep.
we had a great celebration.
So with that, my highlights, beside the actual wedding ceremony, that morning of the wedding, we had a boot camp with
Yes,
100 people.
we did.
We had to work out on wedding day, so we had a boot camp that was one for the ages. I still remember my buddy Salad Bar dressing up as a
goodness.
chef, and people
Yes.
it was an absolute hoot.
We had a huge wedding party
Huge.
because we have so many friends,
Yeah.
and we just don't do anything too small. So
Yeah.
lots of bridesmaids, lots of groomsmen. We had so much fun.
20 years later, here we sit. We're at Fitness Quest 10 as we do this, and I thought how fun it would be to see if we're on the same page. 5 lessons each that we've learned in 20 years of marriage. There's been a lot of highs. There's been some lows, losses and things like that. We've been through a lot. 3 kids born, many lessons learned. And Melanie, why don't you share maybe your first lesson in no particular order, or maybe there is, but
All right, all right.
we'll bounce back and forth with our lessons learned. And again, we have not shared our lessons
We
with
have
each other,
not.
so we'll see.
I came prepared. I did my homework. I wrote it out ahead of time, but we did not even discuss.
No.
Typical us. We're just kind of going with
Go
it.
with the flow,
or we're
baby.
just winging it here. But my first lesson in 20 years is don't quit. Don't quit. We are in this for the long haul, no matter how hard it gets, no matter how easy it feels. We are in it till the end. And I think that's important, that there's no, the grass isn't greener. It's not going to be easier. We're going to get through whatever challenges and struggles that we have to face in the future or that we have gone through. And we are in it till the end.
Why, did you ever want to quit?
No, but I think sometimes, I think when I talk to people who've maybe just gotten married or I think that's one of the big tricks with being married for 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, 50 years is you don't quit. Because it can be easy, I think.
All right, my first one. So number 2. Now let me preface this by saying this. Melanie has a horrible sense of direction. Okay? Horrible.
Not true. It's not horrible.
It's not
as good as yours.
It's
yours
not
is
good.
Like
But
amazing.
that being said, the reason I give you the preface is because we do some of our best communication when driving.
True.
I love working out together with Melanie. I love driving with her. And the reason why, the lesson is, we do our best communication when working out and when driving. As a matter of fact, many years ago, we took a Fitness Quest 10 trip. We had employees. We were going out to the desert to go to a spa. It was like a team building experience. And Melanie and I got so wrapped up in a conversation on the way to the desert. The next thing I know, I saw signs for Arizona. No joke. We got so wrapped up in a conversation about the future and life and our relationship that all of a sudden I saw a sign for Arizona. We were 2 hours past where we were supposed to be, and we just laughed. And to this day, I love getting in a car and driving wherever we're going, and I love working out, even if it's walking on that. So I actually appreciate sometimes not having a great sense of direction, because although I do have a sense of direction, I love getting in the car sometimes and just going anywhere, because we do our best communication when driving and working out.
That is true. That is true. Okay, my next one. My next one is be in sync spiritually, socially, and emotionally, I put. So spiritually, you and I are in sync. We pray together. We support each other. We share books. I'm reading Pastor Jay's book on hope right now. I've been talking to you about it, and I have been loving that book. And we can just really we can complement each other. We can lean on each other in that way. And I think that's important.
By the way, speaking of which,
What?
As you say that, while we're doing this podcast episode, Pastor Jeremiah just walked in the door, and I'm staring at him as I record this. He's turning 80 this week, and he's on a treadmill right now, working out.
I know.
At Fitness Quest 10.
Saw him.
And I'm watching him, and there's a guy, you talk about a mentor and a man of faith, who's impacted me immensely in the last 7 years. That's a God thing. Here we are doing this podcast episode, and Pastor Jay walks in, getting his workout in. You're reading his book, and he's been a man who's impacted both of us.
Yeah, he has, because
he
he writes a book every year, a new book every year, or at least,
Multiple.
exactly, maybe 2. And they keep getting better and better. And this hope is just, it's the best book. So anyway, so I just think that we can support each other, like mutually supportive. I put emotionally in that we can... I lost my track. I'm sorry, socially, not emotionally. I feel like we're on the same page with how we like to spend our weekends, how we like to spend our time. We have, a lot of fun couple friends, and we, when we go on vacation, we tend to kind of like relax in similar ways. And I think that has been very helpful, that we can kind of be on the same page with that. We can be very different. I think people there's very obvious differences with our personality. But when you get to know us well, we are very, very much alike in a lot of ways.
You like to be out there.
I like attention. I like a microphone in front of my face. I like everybody looking at me, and I just and you're just kind of more, you're supportive.
Like
you're more in the background.
Yeah,
you don't need a million lights and cameras and stuff.
Well, to piggyback that point, lesson number 4, my second one, is a lesson learned in 20 years of marriage. Is I've learned about love languages, and I love that Melanie's love language is time. It's time. And the reason I share that is because in the beginning of our marriage, I didn't do a great job with this. I was so focused on building the Fitness Quest 10, building my brand, that I put that as a priority. And obviously, I always prioritize our marriage, but early on, I'd say the first 5 to 10 years, it was so much building the business 7 days a week, weekends, Saturdays, Sundays, missing some kids' events, and I'm not just talking about like taking vacations time. I'm talking about like the time in a day where I can be present and give you the time. Realizing that after I read that book, The Love Languages by Gary Chapman. Gary Chapman's The Love Languages. I realized, and we both had that chat of what my love language is and what yours is knowing that as a lesson is I have to prioritize the time that you deserve and need, and that sometimes means now at the expense of a business opportunity or sacrificing some writing time because I know that's what makes you tick, that's what makes you happy as well. So I'd say that understanding the love languages is a big one for me and the value of time for you.
Well, I agree. And you know what? I have that as well with you. Your love language is words of adoration, is you like to be praised.
Did you have that down?
You know what? I didn't,
Okay.
but I'm going to add it
Okay.
right now because I have to remind myself to thank you for organizing your office and taking out the trash and helping with the dishes. I have to remind myself to thank you for stepping up when you do or coming home early or being at a game. Things that maybe I don't feel like I need to thank you for.
Is there anyone else like that?
But it means the world to you because you just like to be praised for your...
If I do the dishes,
whatever
it
little...
feels
Now,
good
I
to be
don't need
thanked.
any kind of like thanks. And I mean, it's nice to get thanks, but what is it? Words of adoration.
Adoration or affirmation.
Affirmation
Yep.
is not one of my love languages. So I do try to remind myself, and I even tell the kids to stroke you a little.
That is definitely true, and I don't know. I guess that's being the youngest of 8 kids.
Yeah,
right?
you know what? You have 2. Your other love language is touch.
Touch.
Yeah. So I will remind myself to speak your language, and they're neither one of them is really mine. So
Yep.
But that was a very
But
good
even
book,
personally
too.
and as well as professionally, I love I read every DM. I read my
Yeah,
emails.
even
I read
that,
my
right,
DM. I read
right.
because I take it personal. When
We
someone says
save
something
every
good,
thank
I
you
save
card.
everything. I save every card, every
Yes.
thank you card, every handwritten.
Yes.
Like I look at the DMs. I just words of affirmation actually
no,
inspire
it's good.
me.
It's great.
right?
Yeah, no, it's
so
great.
back to you.
So,
number
okay.
5.
I put that taking care of myself to take care of others. And so when I take care of myself and I'm getting in a certain amount of exercise, a certain amount of yoga, and I'm eating clean and I'm just feeling good, I am way better with you. I have more patience. We are getting along well. We're having more fun together. And also it gets into my relationship with the kids. So I feel like we are in sync in that way, is that we both kind of understand that we need a certain amount of like personal space and self-care and healthy habits. And that when we give each other that, and when we are doing that individually, it's helpful for our marriage and for our relationship. We just finished a 21-day, no sugar, no alcohol detox with the Rock Church. And that was not necessarily a fun thing to do, not necessarily an easy thing to do, but it was cool to do it with you. And again, it's right up your alley. It's right up my alley. We're just kind of, we're in sync that way. And it's good. I need somebody like that.
So top 10 lessons learned. My next lesson would be, for me, number 6 here overall, is understanding what makes you happy. And my next 2 are kind of related, but a lesson learned is understanding you to the point of knowing what makes you happy. And you got to know what makes someone happy and then do what you can to make sure they get what fulfills them and really brings them complete joy. Like, I know that you love the kitchen. You love to put on Hamilton when you're cooking. I've heard Hamilton now so many times I can recite it in my sleep. As a matter of fact, I think I'm going to break the Hamilton soundtrack in half because you love it. You listen to it.
You've said this
6
before
out
on
of 7
podcasts.
nights you listen to
know.
Hamilton.
It's weird.
It's when you're in your happiest zone, when you're in the kitchen, especially with McKenna. The last several months, McKenna has taken up. She loves cooking with you, listening to Hamilton. I know that you love getting your nails done. I know you love hanging with the boys and getting, especially time with Luke right now because he's leaving for college in August.
See, if I cook, they stick around.
That's
if
good.
There's food in the kitchen. They want to be there.
You've learned.
I have learned, yeah.
You
no,
learned.
that is true.
You
and
love yoga. I know you love
do.
yoga.
I
I'll
do.
catch you in the living room doing yoga with McKenna.
That is
I
true.
know you love a clean room, so I've got to make
A
sure I
clean
clean
house.
the room.
I like a
because
clean house.
I have a tendency. A little tendency sometimes to leave the shoes
Wait,
behind.
are we going to go
I'll
there?
Take my
Are we
shirt,
going there?
Sure. I'll take my shirt off and I'll leave it on the chair.
Okay.
It's my home. I like to, take my shoes and clothes off sometimes and leave them.
You live a little harder in the home.
Yeah, it's
than
my
I
home.
Do. A little
and
harder.
it drives you nuts.
Yeah.
So this is good.
Yeah.
It's home. So we have a little difference of it's home. I want to take my shoes off here, and sometimes I just happen to forget because a DM came in affirming something I'm doing, and I get distracted, and I got to write something.
You go upstairs and just it's
Yes.
like your closet
Yes.
downstairs.
So I really want to please Melanie. I clean my stuff up, and that really, really makes her
Is
happy.
that a love language? That should be a new love language. Is clean up your crap.
It should be. It should be. Hey, I've said this before. I'm not the most organized. Organization, red tape, out of all the different colors is not my strength, and I know it. So therefore, I do my best to really get that thing a little better and make you happy. So,
yes. Unfortunately, your sons took just right after you with that too. So
but what would you
all
do
three
without
of you.
us?
I love you guys, but
yes.
oh my goodness, times 3.
All right, you're up next.
All right. Hey, this is my golden rule. I got this tip rule.
The golden rule.
From the priest who did our preparatory marriage retreat.
I remember that. My gosh.
He was so great, Father Ben, and he was so wonderful.
Good memory.
And I learned not to keep score. So no matter how many times I pick up your shoes,
That's so hard to
and
do.
bring them upstairs,
God.
or your shirts that are lying on the bar stools, or your piles of printed out emails that shouldn't have been printed out. Whatever it is,
My team is laughing right now, by the way. Why is Julie and Zach cracking up laughing?
Not to keep score.
They're laughing.
Trying not to keep score.
Do they resonate with that?
I know they do. But you know what? It was a great one. And I remember that discussion with him. I remember sitting in his office. We were having a marriage counseling session before we got married, to get married in the Catholic Church, because we wanted to have our wedding at Founders Chapel. And anyway, he just said, make sure that there could be years where you feel like you're giving, and you never know when, that the table will turn, or it's just not about how much you've given in a certain day. It's not supposed to be even. And I don't know why that just resonated with me. And I think it's a good kind of golden rule to have. And for the most part, I do a pretty good job with it. Sometimes it can be difficult.
I don't do a good job.
You don't do
no,
a good
because
job
listen,
I'm just
listen, guys,
doing so
we're
much
being
more
real,
all the
right? We're being real. Because you
I'm
do
still not
way,
keeping
you
score.
do way more. But here's what I mean by that. As an athlete, it's hard not to keep score. As a coach, as a trainer, everything is like.
Well, then you
I
are
won.
losing this game.
I'm competitive.
As an athlete,
I know.
I just want to tell you
I'm competitive.
If you want to,
I'm competitive.
You want to attach a score to anything here after 20
I'm losing,
years.
and I don't like to lose. So when Father Ben said, "Don't keep score," and I had steam coming out my ears, I'm like, Father Ben, you don't know me very well, because I like to keep score. I like to win.
Right.
And yeah, that's how that goes. So, no, honestly, when it comes to keeping score, I think that's a lesson that we've learned.
That.
Absolutely,
we have definitely talked about that.
And actually, it brings me to my next point, my 4th point, the 8th point overall. And y'all can relate to this. It sounds like it's rhetorical, but this is the truth. Happy wife, happy, yes, you said it, life. Yes, dear. Yes, dear. Yes, dear. one thing I've learned is this, and I've said, keep your spouse happy wife, happy life. But I used to be all about proving my point because it was keeping score. So this is parallel.
Okay.
And I was stubborn. I still am stubborn by trade because but sometimes I've become wiser in my years. One of the questions I ask myself now as a husband and even as a leader is like, how can I serve better as a father, as a husband, and as a leader, knowing that I'm not always right? How could I change? Like there were a few times, especially early in our marriage, in keeping score, that I would get miffed. Like, why are you having a 2-year-old birthday party with 20 kids of Luke's to our house with jumpies? They're never going to remember this. Like, I would get so irate that every year, every kid had to have a birthday party. Now, I'm being real here. Folks, I never had a birthday party when I was a kid, ever. I didn't have one birthday party. So, 8 kids, I was the last of the runt. And then every year, our kids were having parties, and we were getting jumpies and doing all this extravagant stuff. I'm like, this is the most ridiculous thing. Why? So finally, I was like, okay, I just got to give in. And it makes my wife happy. No, the kids will not remember their 1, 2, 3, and 4-year-old birthday parties. Missing games sometimes because I wanted to work instead of that, or I was traveling on that. I guess it comes down to this. Who I am today is not who I was necessarily, 15, 20 years ago when we got married. I think the whole, again, how can I change? How can I say yes to more of what you want? Because if you're happy, then I'm happy. If you're not happy, then I know that I'm not going to be happy as well. So
you sum that lesson up as happy wife, happy life.
Yes, say yes more.
It.
Yes,
say
dear.
Yes more.
Yes, dear.
Todd,
you got yes, dear.
Good. That's
yes,
good.
Yes, dear. Yes, dear. Can anyone else get that? Yes, dear. And you're like, sometimes you just don't want to say yes, dear, but if you say yes, dear, you're going to be happier. So.
All right.
Last 2 points.
So I think you counted wrong because I only have one more to give. Do you have one more to give?
One more to give.
Okay. So I actually went down that same road because, of course, in 20 years, we've had some disagreements. We've had some times that have been a little bit challenging. We can be very different in our opinions. And I put drop it and move on. And I think it's ridiculous to say that you're not going to go to bed angry in 20 years. We've been together for 23 years. I will sometimes go to bed angry and frustrated, and we're not seeing eye to eye on something. I want something, you want something else, and whatever. I feel like this is coming from you too. I think you're good at this, and you help me to drop it, let it go, and move on, and not stay mad. It's a new day. We're done. Don't be resentful. Don't be angry. Don't keep harping. For the most part, we will get into arguments and they don't last. It's not like we stay mad at each other for a week or days or months or anything like that. For the most part, we can kind of get through them pretty quickly. And I think that is because we'll just say, and you'll say to me a lot of times, look, it's a new day and I'm not mad anymore. And I'm like, oh, good. I'm not mad anymore either. And we just kind of just drop it and move on. So that's, easier said than done sometimes. But I feel like we've gotten through some things by doing that.
That's a very good point. And I'd say this, number one, we don't actually fight or argue very much.
No, we don't.
But someone once told me this, if your spouse always thought like you,
how boring.
Then what's the point of having a spouse?
Yeah.
Right?
For sure. Yeah. I like how we are different. I've learned over the past 20 years living with you that it's fun. It's a good thing. It's interesting. I would not want you to be exactly like me. I feel like our differences our differences are what bring the spice and excitement and fun to our relationship. But certainly then you can kind of get into places where you have maybe a little impasse.
I could say that you have definitely made me a better man and a better father because your support. And I didn't write this lesson down, but your unwavering support inspires me. What you do at the home with our kids and keeping our home together, I'm not good at that. Like, I'm not good at the home part, and
No,
it doesn't.
I got
like,
the home part down. You're
like,
good at here, though. You're so good here, but
Yeah.
my goodness,
Like,
you'd
I'm
be living
good.
in a shack.
No, listen, I'm good. I would, and listen, I'm good with food in the fridge and having a bed.
I know.
I am good with food, and you're like,
know.
Todd, like the deck needs to be replaced
I
because there's
know.
a splinter coming. I'm like, I don't care. There's food in the fridge, and there's a bed.
I know.
And if there's ESPN on every now and then, I'm so content.
Well, that's where we compliment each other.
We do, and that's where the
good
yes
thing.
dear comes in on that stuff, because you have certainly a newfound appreciation after many years of that, is that you do make me better and that you do complete me, and I actually appreciate all of the wisdom that you've had, because when I've studied folks, most of my big decisions, maybe I'll say all of my big
let's say
decisions,
not most.
all of my big decisions, there's been tremendous input from you on those decisions. And a lot of times those insights are a lot different than how I would think. And I've listened to them very, very acutely, and helping me make those decisions so that we would come up with something that would be agreeable, win or lose, whatever it may be, for the decision. And I've always appreciated that, because you've made me better as well.
Well, and I appreciate that. I feel like you bring out the best version of me. That I'm better with you in my life. I lean on you. I am inspired by you. I'm thankful for you, and I can't imagine doing this life without having you, and I'm so aware of that.
This
and
is only 20 years.
I know. So we have
30 more, before our 50th. So
another
we're good.
20, another 30.
I've got one more, and that should be our 10th lesson, right?
Yes.
Okay, here we go. Number 10. I would say this for number 10, my final lesson, and perhaps my most important lesson, is, you alluded to this earlier, but it's about faith. When I was young, I heard something that has always stuck with me about being equally yoked. And when I met you way back in the day and found out how devout you were as a Christian woman, who we go to church every Sunday, and that was something that was really, really important to me. And I'd say this now, is that faith is the glue that has held us together in tough times and in great times, in the best of times and in the worst of times. As a parent, as a father, and as a mom, for me as a lesson, I honestly don't know, without faith, if we would be here today, the same men and women that we would be today without our faith. There's a verse, Proverbs 22:6. It says, train up a child in the way he should go, and when he's old, he will not depart from that. And one of the best things that we've ever done, take away any success for you as a professor at a college and here with what we do at Fitness Quest 10, is as a parent, I think that's the greatest responsibility that we have. And I remember a wedding, now it wasn't ours, that the priest talked about, there's a triangle, and at the bottom of the triangle is you and your spouse. And at the top of the triangle, it's leaning into God, with God is at the top of the triangle. So God's at the top, you're at the bottom. Now, if you flip that upside down and you think you're at the top, your marriage isn't going to last. I think we've done a good job in making sure our faith has always been at the forefront of our relationship. I love when we pray in the mornings, our Bible studies on Tuesday nights. This is probably one of the more popular verses out there, 1 Corinthians 13. There's faith, hope, and love, but the greatest of these is love. I believe any relationship, whether it's a marriage, whether it's here at Fitness Quest 10 or what we do out in the world, is if we can come from a place of love, and come from a place of light, then we're going to be happy. We're going to be more fulfilled. And at the end of the day, on our deathbeds, what we've given this universe is certainly important. As a lesson, when I look at what we've done with the Impact Foundation and given back, to me, that's what really lights me up. And I think it's found on the principle of faith, hope, and love, and the grace of these is love. I just want to say thank you for 20 great years. And even in times that there haven't been a lot, but in the times of where it's been tough and, you question yourself of like, man, I got to get through this. It's in changing my perspective of how could I be a better husband? How could I be a better father? How could I have more patience in what I do? Because sometimes I lose my patience because I want things to be perfect, or I want to, quote, win this conversation. I'm keeping score. Like that's the purpose of having a relationship. Donna Dickinson said this in 1990, year 2000, right before we got engaged. And this was like the final kicker was she said, Todd Durkin, she goes, why do you think that there's a perfect person out there in the world? Why are you waiting? You've got the most amazing woman on the planet for you, and you need to pull the trigger and stop being scared.
Oh, I'm like, see, I knew I loved
wow. I still remember it was on the
Donna's
Pilates
been
table. I was just
supporting
done stretching.
me for 20 years.
I just got done stretching her, and I'm like, you know what? Sometimes we get in our own way. And
Right.
sometimes we are the obstacles to having a happy relationship, and it's we that have to change, and we that have to take that risk. And how could I be a better man? How could I be a better, again, father, husband? So I just say thank you, and I love you, and I'm happy we're able to do this. You guys probably learned more today about our relationship, maybe than you even cared to learn. But I thought it'd be fun to do, because a lot of the questions that come in have to do with, like, from a family and as a man, or as a family man, as a relationship. So, Melanie, any final words?
Thank you. No, I mean, hey, we're getting older. We've got 20 years of experience and wisdom now, being a married couple. So I feel like we are good at giving back, and, just as teachers and coaches, that's kind of what we do. And so it was fun to share. And
I have two more questions.
Yes.
Out of your 20 years, what was one of your favorite memories, beside the wedding, all time? If you had to,
my goodness,
what was one of your
Todd.
favorite? You want me to tell you mine if you need time to think?
Sure. Tell me yours.
Europe trip with the family.
Yeah,
European
that was
trip
great,
with the kids. It was 2 weeks over there. I spoke in Europe and England, and then we went over to Italy, Germany, Austria.
And I'm trying to get us back there. That's one of the things I've been working on.
Well, if you win enough conversations, maybe we'll get back there.
To get us back there.
Well, we got to get through the pandemic, and then if you're listening from Europe and you want me to come speak over there, let's talk. Let's talk now.
Exactly. Call him. He's available.
But no, it was about time. It was about the experiences that we've had. So that was one of my favorite ones.
I was going to vacations, because we have had some amazing vacations, and I love our family vacations. I guess having our babies was just, I remember those early weeks in bringing home the babies and having the newborns, and just that precious gift of you and me creating something new and amazing. And so our three little adorable babies.
Okay.
That's
and my last question is, what are you most looking forward to in the next 20 years?
I am looking forward to traveling, more traveling. I am looking forward to adventures and visiting our kid in North Carolina.
Good. I thought you said we could say grandkids.
No. We better not be. No, not anytime soon. I'm looking forward, just around the corner is getting on the East Coast, more frequently in every year, and watching some football games.
There we go.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to that a lot.
There we go. And I'd say this is your line that I'm looking forward to growing old with you. I'm looking to continue to have great experiences. It's always about the experiences, the drives, the workouts. It's not always the vacations. It's the actual, like,
Are we ever going to stop working out together?
No.
Are we going to be like in our 70s and 80s working out together?
We'll crawl around the block. Sometimes I feel like I want to crawl around the block now. But
you have been.
I have been, my knee. But no, I think movement is essential. They say that a family that prays together stays together. I think a family that sweats together stays together. I think doing that is very, very healthy. And honestly, it's those days where you corrupted me and sometimes have me drink coffee and
red wine. I got you to drink a little red wine
every now and then.
too. That was good.
Every now and then, and you've made me a better
good
man.
for you.
So to me, it's really capturing the essence of life, and that's a daily basis. And again, that sounds rhetorical, but yes, I love the vacations. They fire me up. But most importantly, on this 20th anniversary coming up, I'm looking forward to heading back to where we spent our honeymoon in Sedona and sharing some time together and reflecting. because the kids are growing up. It seems like yesterday when they were lying on my chest taking naps as an infant, and now they're growing up. And again, back to the kids thing. One of the most important responsibilities that we have is that God lent us these kids for a short while, and that we gotta do everything we can to instill in them the values and the beliefs that are going to get them through this crazy world that we live in.
I agree. I'm looking forward to Sedona next week. We're going to go back to our old stomping grounds, and it'll be fun.
Folks, there you have it. 10 lessons in 20 years of marriage. Now, there's obviously been more lessons, but Mel and I, we each came up with 5. And maybe you laughed, maybe you cried, whatever it is. But whatever relationship, whether you're on a 1-year anniversary, a 5-year, a 50-year, as again, I look at Pastor Jeremiah, I think he's at like 57 or something like that. Man, it's all about life. It's all about living. When I talk about impact, who are you creating impact with? It'd be a lonely world if it was just me doing my thing and I didn't have Melanie as my sidekick to share in so many experiences. And I think you'd say the same thing is when you're able to share that with your significant other and your family and your community and your loved ones, it certainly makes it that much more fulfilling and worthwhile. So to that, I say I love you and happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary.
Yeah, guys. Thanks for sharing in our conversation today. If you enjoyed having Melanie was she the guest or was she the host? I'm not sure because she kicked us off.
I was
If
the
you
guest.
enjoy that, do me a favor. Can you please tag Melanie as well as me on Instagram? Make sure you tag her, follow her. Her posts are sometimes a little bit different than mine. They're about cooking and family, and they're all lovey-dovey, beautiful things, which I love. And give her some love, give us some love, and certainly spread the impact, positivity around the world. You talk about positivity and contagious enthusiasm. Part of life is relationships. A big part of relationships is life, and a big part of life is relationships. So foster these relationships this week. And as Mel and I celebrate our anniversary here on the 17th of February, I hope that you have an incredible week. I hope that you can really spend time and write love notes to your loved ones, whether they be your kids and their cleat notes or helmet notes, or whether your spouse who you used to write love notes and put them on the windshield at grad school. Get back to some of the basics. Get back to some of the things that brought you in love in the first place. And I hope you have an amazing, amazing week. I love you guys and can't wait to see you real soon. And until next time, remember, if you want to have 20 years of an anniversary or more, you got to train hard. You got to eat right. You must live inspired, and you got to create impact.